Well, I think it's extremely important when we are facing the ugly, crazy phenomena of Holocaust denial and distortion to make it clear in various ways what really happened and the tragedy of our people. As I said here today, my family also suffering, and many of my family members were perished during the Holocaust. And today, when the UN has an integral, a central role to fighting anti-Semitism and to fight the Holocaust denial and distortions, so the fact that the Book of Names is here when we are opening this important exhibition here for all the world to see is another tool to fight these ugly, dangerous phenomena.
Talking about fascism and Nazis, Russia started the war in Ukraine under the pretext that fascism is experiencing a revival in Ukraine. What do you say to that? Are there any signs that Ukraine is experiencing a fascism right now?
I think Israel already commented on all the statements with regards to the denazification of Ukraine. We don't see any connection between the tragedy of the Holocaust and fighting anti-Semitism to the war that sadly is taking place in Ukraine.
Thank you so much.
Next speaker is His Excellency Mr. Gilad Erdan, the permanent representative of Israel to the United Nations.
Thank you, Under Secretary General Fleming. And of course, I would like to thank Secretary General Gutierrez, my friend, Chairman of Yad Vashem, Danny Dayan, and of course, the Rubinstein family. Leaders, delegates, and dear Holocaust survivors, thank you all. My grandfather, Chaim, was a farmer. He lived in a small village in Transylvania with his wife Bracha and 8 beautiful children. But in the spring of 1944, the small village and their simple way of life ceased to exist. The Nazis brutally forced Chaim, Bracha, their 8 children, and 160,000 other Transylvanian Jews into cramped ghettos, and shortly afterwards onto cattle cars hurtling towards Auschwitz. When the trains came to a stop, my grandfather was immediately separated from his family, his young children torn from his arms and his wife dragged away from him. If only he would have known what was about to happen to them, he would have kissed each one of them for the last time and told them how much he loved them. Bracha and 7 of their children were sent straight to the gas chambers, murdered for the sole reason of being born Jewish. The Nazis kept my grandfather and his eldest daughter, my Aunt Hannah, alive for the sole purpose of doing backbreaking labor for their despicable regime. Friends, Bracha, Pearl, Tzvi, Sarah, Hodaya, Leah, Henya, and baby Mordechai, murdered at only 2 years old, are eternally enshrined in the Book of Names downstairs. Their names are inscribed alongside the names of nearly 5 million other Jewish men, women, and children murdered by the Nazis and their collaborators. Thanks to Yad Vashem, their memory will live on forever. But beyond their memory, the Book of Names, this powerful exhibition, couldn't have come at a more crucial time. Today, there are forces of evil doing everything in their power to erase the memory of Bracha, her children, and the 6 million other victims. Holocaust denial and distortion are on the rise, and due to the internet, these lies proliferate at terrifying speeds. This is why we passed a historic resolution 1 year ago to combat this twisted phenomenon, and the resolution was adopted by consensus. Thanks to this resolution, there is now a globally accepted definition for Holocaust denial and distortion. Nevertheless, social media platforms still remain a cesspool of lies and hate. This practice must end now. It isn't by chance that this year we witnessed so many instances of ignorance regarding the atrocities of the Holocaust and the event that led up to it. There are those that are working to erase the memory and lessons that must be learned from our horrific atrocity. They question the right of the Jewish people and the Jewish state to protect ourselves. Just today, we witnessed another example, one of thousands, of Israel defending itself against terrorists in Jenin, preparing to carry out an attack against innocent Jews. I expect the international community to stand behind the Jewish people defending ourselves in the Jewish state, as this is one of the most fundamental lessons learned from the Holocaust, the tragedy of the Jewish people. This is the embodiment of never again. The UN, an institution that rose from the ashes of the Holocaust, bears an integral central responsibility to actively combat these phenomena of anti-Semitism and Holocaust denial. It is the responsibility of each and every one of us to call out this hate. Hateful actions always begin with hateful words. The time has come for everyone to accept what the international community has agreed upon and start fighting this sick practice. Holocaust deniers and Jew haters can no longer be given a free pass. Sadly, even here at the UN, such bigots can be found. I know that I will not rest until this is done, but neither can anyone else. The time for words has passed, and the time for action is now. It is our responsibility to go on the offensive against bigotry and not rely solely on statements and verbal commitments. In a time of rising hate and violence, platitudes are not enough. I demand action. The Jewish people demand action. We must not allow evil to prevail. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.